If you missed the internet wave 20 years ago and you missed the creator economy 10 years ago, then you really shouldn't miss this wave: solo businesses powered by AI. On one side, Sam Altman, the founder of OpenAI, has predicted that in the future, we'll see one-person companies reaching billion-dollar valuations. On the other side, in China, AI educators are already proving this model works. For example, selling a low-ticket AI traffic course at massive scale, generating multi-million-dollar revenue in a short time. The truth is, a one-person company isn't a new concept at all. It has a much more down-to-earth name: the self-employed business. What makes it explode today is AI. With AI, individual productivity is massively amplified. A one-person company is no longer limited to selling physical labor. It can sell software, knowledge, courses, systems, and solutions. AI doesn't just change how we start businesses. It changes how work is divided and how resources are distributed across society. So whether or not you plan to start a business, the wave of one-person companies powered by AI is relevant to everyone. In this video, I'll break down the full journey of building a one-person company. From 0 to 1, there are 4 critical stages. Miss any one of them, and AI will only make the problems bigger. From 1 to 100, there's 1 leverage stage. You will see how AI plays 2 very different roles. AI for going from 0 to 1, AI for scaling from 1 to 100.
Hi, I'm Xiaotong.
I am dedicated to help solo founders who want growth without burning themselves out. Before this, I worked in strategy consulting. My job was to turn complex, fragile systems into structures that don't collapse under pressure. Today, I design AI-enabled, system-first businesses where revenue is decoupled from real-time effort. This channel is about building one-person companies as resilient assets. If you care about cash flow, clarity, and using AI to buy back your time, you'll feel at home here. Subscribe, and we will walk this journey together. Why is the one-person company model so attractive to founders? Let's look at a very grounded example. Justin Welsh has been running his one-person business for over 5 years. In that time, he's generated over $10 million in revenue, with nearly 90% profit margins. His business is intentionally lean. He teaches people how to monetize their expertise through systems like the LinkedIn operating system. But he didn't start with a big budget. His total startup cost, just $31. That was $12 for a domain and $19 for hosting. He didn't need a team or a fancy office. He needed a system. The data shows he's not an outlier. By early 2026, nearly 40% of all new startups are being launched by solo founders, a massive leap from just 23% in 2019. This is a visible, structural shift toward what I call the new era of business. So let's talk about the first step in this journey: positioning. Positioning answers one simple question: who do you help and what problem do you solve? There are 3 common ways founders approach this. The first is imitation. Find an existing business that already makes money and do it slightly better. This idea is widely respected. Investors and operators have said the same thing for decades. The author of The $100 Startup, Chris Guillebeau, shared that his first real business wasn't built on passion or expertise. He imported coffee from Jamaica and sold it online simply because he saw others doing it successfully. That's it. So if you don't have a clear positioning yet, the simplest starting point is this: look around you. Identify businesses that already work. Choose one you can understand. Start there. The second approach is to start from your professional expertise. On paper, this sounds logical. You're already in the industry. You see the pain points. But in practice, this path is far riskier than it looks. From experience, there are countless ways to fail, and often you don't even know why. Understanding real demand is a complex system. Never assume you know what people want. Even when they tell you what they want, it doesn't always mean they truly need it. Distinguishing between desire and necessity is one of the hardest skills in business. The third way of positioning comes from a truth most founders only understand once they've lived it. Start with a problem you've actually struggled with, not one you think others have. James Dyson built his first vacuum because he was frustrated that his vacuum kept losing suction at home. That personal frustration turned into a product and a massive company. Along my own journey as a solo founder, I encountered countless frustrations. You think positioning is simple until you try to define who exactly you help and why they should care. You think content creation is fun until you've produced 20 videos and still don't see traction? You think AI workflows will automate everything until you realize the real bottleneck is what you haven't structured yet. I know what it's like to spend months building what felt like an excellent product, only to watch cash not flow in. That frustration isn't abstract, it's real, it's constant, and it steers so many founders into burnout. That's why I focus on helping people like me, passionate, capable, deeply determined founders, build business structures that integrate into an ideal lifestyle, a business that gives you joy, not exhaustion. At this stage, AI doesn't decide your positioning for you. What it does do is accelerate clarity. You can use AI to map existing markets faster, analyze competitors' offers, stress test your positioning logic. But here's the key: AI can help you see options, it cannot choose for you. Positioning is still a human judgment problem. Once positioning is clear, the next phase is productization, turning your expertise into something people can actually buy in a clear, repeatable way. A common mistake is to think productization means more features, more services, or more hours. True productization means turning messy, custom work into distinct, repeatable offers with predictable outcomes. A great example is Design Joy. Design work usually feels messy and custom, but Design Joy standardized it into a simple subscription: unlimited requests handled one at a time for a flat monthly fee. Clients get speed and predictability. The founder gets a repeatable system that scales without a massive team. This is the essence of productization, turning expertise into a revenue engine that creates leverage, not just more workload. True productization means clearly defining what problem is solved, what the final outcome looks like, what is included, and what is not. This is also where AI becomes a powerful design assistant, not to build the product for you, but to help you. Break down messy services into components, identify what can be standardized, and test different offer structures quickly. Productization is not about doing more, it's about making value clear, repeatable, and transferable. After positioning and product thinking, the next phase is demand validation. I've seen founders spend 6 months building something polished, only to realize no one was waiting for it. Not because the idea was bad, but because demand was never tested. Demand validation answers one question: will real people pay for this now? At this stage, AI plays a very practical role. AI helps you build and change MVPs fast. Instead of spending weeks creating one perfect version, you can generate a draft landing page in minutes, spin 3 versions of the same offer, adjust pricing, positioning, and outcomes quickly. The goal is not to finish the product. The goal is to test demand with the smallest possible artifact. This minimum expression could be a simple sales page, a short demo video, a one-page offer outline, a pre-order link. Then you test it in real conversations, not with friends, not with interested people, with people who can actually pay. And here's the key rule: don't listen to opinions, watch actions. Real demand looks like someone joining a waitlist, someone clicking pre-order, someone sending money. AI lets you shorten this loop dramatically. You can test 5 versions in the time it used to take to build one. This flips the old startup logic. Instead of build, market, hope, you do test, adjust, confirm, build. That's how solo founders avoid wasting months. Stage 4 is standardization. This is where solo founders stop relying on memory and start relying on structure. Standardization begins with one rule: if your delivery lives only in your head, you are the bottleneck. In the past, documenting work felt painful. Today, AI changes this completely. You can record yourself delivering once, dump messy notes or voice memos, and let AI turn them into step-by-step SOPs, checklists, or spreadsheets. The standard is simple: if someone else followed these steps, the outcome should still be acceptable. Once the delivery logic is clear, you don't need dozens of templates. In practice, 2 types matter most. First, delivery templates. This is the structure of what you actually hand over: reports, systems, documents, dashboards. Templates protect quality, especially on low energy days. Second, client communication templates. After enough clients, patterns become obvious. The same questions, the same doubts, the same reassurance needs. Instead of rewriting emails every time, you build a response library. AI helps here too, by adapting tone and context without changing your core logic. This is the shift. You stop working from memory and mood. You let structure carry consistency. Stage 5 is AI amplification. And this is where most people misunderstand AI. AI does need two completely different jobs, depending on the stage of your business. In the early stages, from 0 to 1, AI helps you accelerate clarity and decision making. But at this stage, from 1 to 100, AI helps you multiply. Let me explain what that actually looks like. Before AI, even with documentation and templates, there was still a hard limit: your attention. Every decision still passed through you. With AI, something fundamental changes. Here's the shift. Instead of asking AI to help with tasks, you teach AI how you decide. You encode your standards, your trade offs, your non negotiables. Now, AI doesn't just assist, it pre filters, pre structures, and pre decides. For example, incoming client requests get categorized automatically. Proposals are drafted according to your exact logic. Content ideas are generated within your positioning boundaries. You are no longer involved at the start. You step in only at the final review. This is the multiplier. One founder used to handle one client request at a time, one piece of content at a time, one decision thread at a time. After AI amplification, the same founder can run multiple conversations in parallel, test multiple content angles at once, maintain quality without being present. The business no longer grows because you work harder. It grows because your judgment has been copied. That's what scaling actually means. Not more effort, more instances of you without burning you out. I'll be honest with you. Today's topic might feel a little dense. You might be thinking, this sounds important, but also complex. What I want you to know is this: there is no such thing as a business that's too small to need structure. No matter how small the operation, every business has the same core organs. You don't get to skip stages. What I shared today isn't theory, it's the real operational layers every solo founder eventually has to face, along with the lessons I learned the hard way. If you're currently building your business and you feel stuck, stretched, or unsure where the real bottleneck is, I've made something to help. I'm opening up a diagnostic tool I normally use in private consulting. It takes less than 2 minutes, and it shows you exactly where your business is still structurally dependent on you and where it's already behaving like an asset. You can find the link below in description. And if you're a solo founder, I'd really like to hear from you. Leave a comment below. What's the hardest part of your business right now? I read every comment, and many of my future videos will be built directly from these questions. See you soon.